We like to believe that memory exists to help us survive. We remember danger so we can avoid it. We remember pain so we do not repeat it. We remember loss so we can protect what remains. That is the clean version of memory, the version that makes sense. But human memory is rarely clean. Some memories do not stay because they are useful. They stay because they are unfinished. They keep returning long after the moment has passed, long after the people involved have moved on, and long after the body should have been able to rest. These are the memories that feel toxic, not because they are always false, but because they keep producing pain even when no new wound exists. They replay themselves in silence. They distort the present. They pull the mind back into places it thought it had already escaped. And the strange thing is that people often do not want to let them go. They hold on to memories that hurt them, revisit them, and even define themselves through them. At first glance, that seems irrational. Why would anyone keep what poisons them? But psychology shows that painful memories are rarely kept by accident. They are kept because they serve a function. Sometimes they protect us. Sometimes they warn us. Sometimes they give shape to an identity that would otherwise feel unstable. And sometimes the mind keeps them because the alternative is scarier. Forgetting would mean admitting that the event happened and no longer has to control the entire future. That is not easy for a nervous system built around survival. A toxic memory is often not just a memory of pain. It is a memory of helplessness. It is the mind returning again and again to the moment it felt powerless, trying to find a different ending that never arrives. A betrayal, a humiliation, an abandonment, a cruel sentence spoken at the wrong time, a mistake that changed everything. These moments do not remain because they are pleasant. They remain because the mind has not fully resolved what they mean. Part of the reason we keep toxic memories is that the brain does not store experience as raw information. It stores meaning. A child who is shamed in front of others may not simply remember the event. They may remember what it seemed to say about who they are. A person who is abandoned may not remember only the absence. They may remember what it seemed to prove about their worth. A failure can become evidence that they are not enough. A rejection can become evidence that they are difficult to love. A moment of fear can become a permanent lens. This is why toxic memories are so dangerous. They do not always announce themselves as memories. They come back as beliefs. They become the quiet background of a person's life. They influence the way someone interprets a facial expression, a delayed reply, a disagreement, or even a moment of peace. The body remembers too. A tone of voice can bring back the exact feeling of being small. A place can bring back the exact tension that was once stored there. The nervous system does not care that time has passed. It cares whether the pattern feels familiar, and familiar pain often feels safer than unfamiliar peace. That is one of the deepest reasons people stay attached to toxic memories. Those memories are awful, but they are known. They have shape. They have history. They explain why the person is cautious, guarded, angry, or distant. They give the mind a story that feels more stable than uncertainty. In a strange way, pain can become part of identity. Someone may say, without saying it directly, "This happened to me, therefore this is who I am." The memory becomes a badge, a wound, a shield, and a warning all at once. This is why people sometimes return to the same old hurt, even when it ruins their mood, their relationships, and their sense of self. They're not always seeking pain. They're seeking certainty. They're seeking coherence. The mind would rather preserve a painful story than sit in a blank space where meaning has not yet been built. And then there is repetition. The human mind has an unsettling tendency to revisit what it has not metabolized. If a memory was never understood, never expressed, never integrated, it keeps resurfacing in new forms. Someone betrayed in one relationship may begin expecting betrayal everywhere. Someone humiliated in childhood may become hypersensitive to embarrassment as an adult. Someone who learned early that love is unstable may keep choosing unstable people because instability feels like home. This is not because they enjoy suffering. It is because the familiar often feels trustworthy, even when it hurts. The brain is not trying to destroy us. It is trying to predict the world. The trouble is that it sometimes predicts the future using old pain. This is how toxic memories become self-reinforcing. The memory creates fear, the fear shapes behavior, The behavior creates new evidence, the evidence confirms the memory, and the loop grows stronger. That is why a person can logically know that the past is over and still feel trapped inside it. Their mind is not responding to logic alone. It is responding to old emotional data that still feels active. In that sense, toxic memories are rarely about the past alone. They are about the present being haunted by unfinished meaning. They are the mind saying, this happened once, so maybe it can happen again, so maybe I must stay ready. This readiness can look like vigilance, but it can also look like bitterness, detachment, distrust, self-sabotage, or even obsession. People may revisit toxic memories to punish themselves, to justify walls they built long ago, or to avoid the vulnerability of hoping again, because hope is dangerous. Hope asks the person to believe that the next chapter might not repeat the last one, and for someone trained by pain, that belief can feel irresponsible. But the most powerful reason we keep toxic memories is that they can become proof. Proof that the world is dangerous, proof that people cannot be trusted, proof that vulnerability is stupid, proof that the person was right to shut down, proof that bitterness had a reason to exist. This is where memory crosses into identity. The memory no longer just describes what happened, it explains the person's worldview. It becomes a private courtroom where the same old evidence is presented again and again. And because the emotional charge is still strong, the memory feels true in a way no argument can easily reach. That is why people often resist letting go of toxic memories. Letting go can feel like betrayal of the self that survived them. It can feel like minimizing what happened. It can feel like surrendering the one thing that validates the wound. Yet holding on has its own price. Toxic memory narrows the future. It teaches the mind to expect the next wound before the next opportunity. It makes every new relationship carry the weight of old ones. It turns caution into habit, and habit into personality. Some people begin to live as if they are protecting themselves from a disaster that already happened. They are not actually in danger anymore, but their nervous system never got the memo. So they keep replaying, comparing, bracing, testing, and remembering, not because the memory is harmless, but because it feels like control. The irony is cruel. The memory that once formed a shield can eventually become a prison. This is why toxic memories are so hard to release. They are not just images from the past, they are emotional architecture. They are the internal walls built to survive one specific kind of pain, then left standing long after the fire is gone. To heal does not mean pretending the fire never happened. It means admitting that the wall is now blocking sunlight too. And that may be the hardest part of all. People do not keep toxic memories because they love suffering. They keep them because somewhere inside the pain, they found a reason to keep going. The real work is not erasing memory, it is changing the meaning attached to it. That is how pain stops being a master and starts becoming a chapter. Sometimes the reason a memory stays alive is not because it hurts the most, but because it was the moment something inside us changed forever. After that point, life was no longer innocent. The world had a crack in it, and the memory kept returning to make sure we never forgot where it was. That is why toxic memories feel so hard to release. They are not only reminders of pain, they are reminders of the moment we stopped seeing ourselves or other people the same way again.